Booyah, shabuya, roll call. Shabuya, shabuya. My name is Destiny.
Yeah.
I keep it real.
You know.
I bring the proof.
Let's go.
From culture to combo, I stay on track. With loving light, I got your back.
My name is Jaedyn.
Yeah.
I set the tone
What?
with good vibes. Straight through your phone.
Brr.
From deep talks to laughs, we keep it tight. Stay connected. We shine that light.
Shabuya, shabuya, roll call. Connected podcast. We got it all. Just said it there. Welcome back to the Connected Podcast. It is Destiny here.
And Jaedyn.
And we're so glad to have you. And we thought we were just having some fun.
Yeah, it was a little sneak peek to our real selves.
Okay. Let's get straight into it, though.
Yeah. This episode.
Okay. No more.
It was like a little light and like fun thing for a very serious app.
Yeah. Okay. Also, if you're wondering, we decided that we are a little lazy. And we do have to set up every single time in my room. And my room's all the way upstairs. And then I have to move my bed and everything. And today we were just like, no one's home right now. So let's just film in my living room.
Yeah.
And behind us, you see part of my family tree here.
Yeah.
We have like a
little
Scrabble board of all my family's names.
It's pretty cool.
Also, I feel like the more we get into the podcast, the more comfortable I feel.
Yeah.
Like before, looking at the camera, I'd be like, now I just feel like we're just talking.
Yeah.
I do feel like we're really close right here. Okay. So, Jaedyn, what is our topic? I'm very excited about this, by the way.
Today we are speaking on, drumroll please, mental health. If you don't know, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, so we thought, what a perfect way to end this month with our podcast.
And I think it's just very important.
Yes.
We've been doing this. This will be a full month. Because didn't our first podcast come out beginning of April? So this will be 2 months?
Oh my gosh.
Guys, time really does fly.
So before we get into our topic, we would like to give a special thank you to our last week's guest, Miss Marissa.
Woo!
Everyone cheer for her, even though she can't hear you.
We love her, and we think she did an amazing job. And we're so happy that she took that step and was willing to come on the podcast with us and open up and share her story and her struggles.
We appreciate it, and we know that topic was an important topic for a lot of you, the people who reached out to us and told us about that, and that we love getting those and we love seeing those messages because it's really encouraging for us, and it's just like add fuels to our fire. You know, we're like, yeah, like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do this because like through us, like the Lord is speaking to you, you know, like, and I think that's so cool, and it just makes me like, yes.
And another thing is, if you don't follow us on Instagram, but you have a topic that you want to hear us talk about, let us know. You can comment down below, send us an email if you have our number, or let us know because we are always willing to talk about anything you guys want to hear.
Yes. It's important that we all come together in unison and help each other with our struggles and stuff. So
yes. So let's get into mental health now.
So if you didn't know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we decided this would just be a perfect time to speak on mental health. And to us, mental health is very important.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I know I messed up.
It sounds so smooth.
Mental health is very important. And it's something that all of us struggle with. All ages, boys and girls, the same. It doesn't matter. Like, there's this little girl at work. She's in like first or second grade, and she already has like anxiety. Like something small that's not part of her normal routine will literally set her off, and she like can't control herself. Like it's so sad because I'm like, this poor little girl, like, you know, and I just want to like help her, you know, but there's not really.
And I think that people don't really understand until they've been through it themselves. I think sometimes it could be like dismissed.
Yeah.
As you get over it, you'll be fine, or you're not that sad, like, you know?
Yes. It's hard not to like, it's hard to say like, oh, do this when you don't know what it feels like. You don't understand.
And so you're been through their shoes. But Jaedyn, this is off the fly. We did not come up with questions this time. We just thought this would be more like a talk episode. Do you think you've ever been through a season where you struggled with your mental health, whether it be anxiety, depression, sadness, or
Well, I for sure have been through like sad seasons, but I don't think I've ever been depressed or had like anxiety. Like I've been anxious about things, and we all have, but I don't think I've had like crippling anxiety. Like that's just it's just not something that I've struggled with, or I don't think I've ever been depressed. But I've for sure been through like sad seasons where I'm just like more down than typical than usual, my usual self, and I would say like I don't really remember when like my parents got a divorce, so like I can't really speak to that. Like I remember when they got a divorce, but like I'm like, "Oh, how did that make me feel?" Like I don't like remember because I was in like 4th grade. So, but I would say like when my dad got sick the first time, that was hard. Or every time. Not just the first time, but like the start of that. I would say through like that season, like I literally just didn't want to ever do anything. Like I hated doing everything. I'm like, to go to school. I have to go to work. I have to go do this. I have to go to like literally even going to church. I'm like,
I remember
go to
that. You're
church.
like, I don't want to
wanna
go.
Like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to. I literally didn't want to do anything, and that was so hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say one thing that helped me was like the people around me. They'd like be like, Destiny would be like, why don't you want to go to church? Like, let's just go to church. Like, that's where it's gonna like help you. Like, you need to go to church. And I'd be like, okay, fine. Which is like sad, but that's how I felt. And I would say really the people around me like encouraging me to actually doing things. And then obviously like I had to go to school, and I'm not the type of person who would just like cut or skip school. Like, I literally could not do that. I would be so scared. I would get in so much trouble. So obviously I had to go to school, but I literally hated being at school. Like I've never hated something more than like that time, like going to school. I'm like, this is terrible. But I had to do it. And I think the constant like doing it, the action of like kind of making myself do something and not just sitting in my sadness and sulking in it was something that really helped me come out of that. And the more I was around people and the more that like I was with my family and friends, they really
Sorry.
but the more I was with the people and with people who lifted me up and were there to give me advice,
Dang it.
they really like that helped me come out of that, and that helped me see things in a different perspective. And this is like, you know what's so crazy is like during this time, like I remember I was like asking my dad, I was like, Dad, like this is the first time we did the bulletin board. I'm like, Dad, like I need to choose a Bible verse for work, but I don't really know what my favorite one is. And then he showed me, shoot, now I don't even remember. Romans 2:12, 12:2.
I don't know. Is that your favorite verse?
Yes, now it is for sure. And I was like, oh, that's a good one. Wait, can
What is it?
I look it up?
Yeah. This is about verse I needed.
Transformation of your mind. Okay, wait, sorry, Destiny. Corinthians, if I can just do this.
Why I was saying dang it was because you kind of like went into my next question I had for you, but it's okay. When you're feeling down, like how do you turn your day around? Or when you feel like when your mental health is like
Yeah. And
foggy
for a long
or
time, for a season, like I didn't do anything. Like I would just like feel like that all the time, and I hated it. It was like, oh, this is terrible. Like, and I like knew it, and I was like it really. And then like sitting that just made me even more like I don't want to do anything. And then like I don't even remember how like it happened, but I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna like do this anymore. And I just feel like it was like a mental thing for me where I was like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to feel like this anymore. And I just kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but switched my mindset over to being like, okay, well, this is what happens. And like, you got to learn to live with it. You can't just sit like this. And so I would do something and I would try to go into it with a different mindset. And I would be like, okay, well, if I'm feeling like this, like, how can I not feel like that? Oh, well, if I hate going to school, how can I make school better for me? Or I would be like, you know what, today's going to be a good day, instead of being like, ugh. Like, I think I speak things over myself or over my life, like, oh, like I wake up in the morning, I wake up and I'd be like, oh, like, I don't want to go to school. Like, I hate this. And I'd be like, no, today's going to be a good day at school. It's going to be a good day at work. I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to have, like, I don't really know how to explain it in a way.
I feel like
it's like
you're very good at switching your mindset like right away.
Yes,
like you
I start
acknowledge that
feeling
you
something.
are negative and you switch it.
Yes, because I just that helps me a lot is like acknowledging how I'm feeling, like pointing it out, like, okay, this is how I feel. And for a long time, it takes me like a minute to know how I'm actually feeling. Like I'm like, oh, why am I like, I know I'm sad and I know I'm sad, but I'm like, okay, why am I like this? Like, what is making me feel like this? And it takes me a while. So I'll like kind of be like, I guess that's kind of me sitting in it and kind of accepting that I'm sad for a minute and being like, okay, like trying to talk through my feelings with myself. And then I'll be like, okay, that's it. Now I know what it is. Now I can counteract that with like my positive mindset with a transforming of my mind, which is literally my favorite Bible verse, which I thought is so crazy because that like I kind of figured that out before my dad was like, oh, what about this Bible verse? And I was like, oh, that's a great one. I was just kind of like, no, I'm going to be like this today. I'm not going to be sad today. I'm not going to speak like, oh, today's going to be a bad day, because then it's going to be a bad day because that's your mindset, you know? And then my dad was like, what about Romans 12:2, which is, I shared this on one of the podcasts before. I don't remember which one though. It says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know what God's will for you. Know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect.
Maybe it was the not of this world.
Probably.
Like, don't transform to the world.
Yes. He like, what was that? You wanted one of those. And so then like my dad showed me that Bible verse and I was like, I love that Bible verse. It was so fueling to me because it was like, oh wow, like your mind really is so powerful and it plays such a key role in your life. And I always tell, I literally feel like every podcast I talk about your mindset, but I just love it. And it's so important to me because like my mindset, the change of my mindset really helped me in like that season of like doom and gloom. Like every day was a bad day. Like I hated this, but in like the way that I like turn my mind around, and the more I was spending time with people who are Christ-like and uplifting me and like made me go to church and made me like grow my relationship with Jesus. And I would be like, okay, well, I'm not going to listen to this music. I'm going to start listening to worship music every day on my way to school. Like I won't listen to anything else. And so I listen to the same, not really the same songs, but literally I have like a playlist of like my favorite songs, and I'll just like hit shuffle. And then I'd listen to that like every day on my way to school. And then I'd like pray and I'd put on my armor of God. And like once you started changing that mindset of like, oh, I'm not going to have a bad day. Oh, I'm going to do things that are going to help me be productive and help me be a mindset, or help me have a better mindset about my life. I just feel like that really transformed my doom and gloom thinking.
So if you could give them 2 tips on how to like boost their mental health, or how to get out of a season of maybe not as serious as depression, because you said you've never, but do you get what I mean? Like,
And I think depression is depending, it's like, it's literally, it can be like a chemical imbalance. So it's not really anything your mindset can do for you. But
yeah. But what do you think that could help? Like just a little, like a little. Do you get what I mean?
I think one thing is recognizing and coming to the terms that it's okay to be upset, but it's not okay to like just like dial in on like that upset, like how like sad or upset you are, and just like solely focus on that and not and put blinders onto everything else around you. Just like, my life's terrible, you know? I think it's important to be like, okay, well, this is bothering me now, and then counteract it. Because I told Destiny that all the time. I'm like, okay, well, how can we counteract this? But I think it's harder for some people than it is like for Destiny. Like it's harder for her to just turn her mindset around like that. Like, you know, like I'll be like, okay, well, how can you counteract it? And you'll say this, and I'm like, well, like, didn't do that. And she's like, doesn't just help. And I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't just help? Because it helps me like that. But I think over time, if you're just speaking things constantly over yourself and over your life, and you're have that relationship with the Lord, like your tongue has power in it. So I do believe if you're just speaking depression and speaking sadness over you, then you're going to be depressed. So I think one is recognizing that like not everything is, your whole life isn't just about like the sadness, like there's more to it. And then 2, speaking life over yourself and speaking like joy over yourself. I think that's my
I like that.
2 things.
That's good.
Okay, Destiny, you want to
My
talk
turn?
about your mental health journey?
No, just kidding. Okay. I think me and Jaden struggle in different ways. Mental health is really important to me because I don't know, I feel like I've gone through different seasons in my life. I'll talk about 2 seasons. One was like extreme, like anxious and anxiety, and I don't remember why. It was crazy because my life, like when I look back at this age, it was in 8th grade. I love school. I loved going. It was so fun. But it was near the end of my school, like maybe February to May, or I don't even remember how long, but I just remember I was like extremely anxious. But it definitely came in waves, and that's definitely something I've struggled with. I wouldn't say I've struggled with anxiety like my whole life, but I would say a deep sense of, do you get what I mean? Like I've never had to be on medication or like
It's just you just felt like
anxious, fearful.
paranoid.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would say fearful.
So that was that. And then another season, I don't want to say depression, because that is a very strong word. And I'm pretty sure I talked about it in the podcast. Did I talk about it when one time I was with my dad and that's where?
I don't think so.
Well, okay. So I would say my deep sorrow and depression, like I didn't shower for like a while. I was like sleeping all the time, was when it was my first year in college, and Jaden was still at school and I didn't work as much, so I would only have to go to work from 7:30 to 8:30 to drop off the kids, and instead of staying, I would come home and I'd sleep till 12, wake up at 12 and go to work at 1. And that was my day repeat. Like I was just in this funk. Yeah. And then I finally got over it, and then it seems that I always struggle around August to October of funk. I just get in this funk every year. And I would say this year hit me really hard. And what helped me was, one, at first, for the longest time, I feel like I just shoved it in the back. Like I wasn't confronting my feelings. I didn't talk about it with anyone until one night I was with Aaliyah and Lauren and we were at Menchie's. And I don't know, they asked me a question and I just broke down crying in tears, telling them like how I feel. And like I felt like I just couldn't fix it. Like there was nothing I can do. And then 2 days later, my dad came in my room. And I don't know what he asked, but then I broke down to him. And then I was saying, like, I don't really know if it's depression, because depression's a really big word, but that's how I felt. And it's always happened like every year. And what helped me a lot, the two things that helped me, one, I have a quote. Someone shared this with me actually once they found out like how I've been feeling, because like I mentioned in the contentment podcast, I was projecting what I didn't possess. They were like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you were living the best life and doing fine," when I wasn't. And they told me this, which I was like, they said, they like texted me and was like, I don't remember, like I wanted to share this with you, and it said, suppression of expression leads to depression. And I was like, that's so true. Oftentimes, especially as Christians, do you hear that kid yelling outside? I think we put up this front and we wear this mask that we're doing fine, we're okay, especially at church. We all come, look our best, say good, say how are you, say we're good. No one wants to be vulnerable, and I think that's something that we all struggle with, is wearing that mask. So something that helped me was being expressive and talking about how I feel with those around me, like talking with my dad, talking with Jaedyn. And another thing was, once, it was honestly in that season of the funk, don't want to call it depression, I want to say like sadness, because it was sadness, but it was always just like muh, like muh, like like about everything, like nothing, like. And it was in that season that me and Jaedyn started. I was like, I'm just going to read my Bible. I know this is what's going to help. And then we made the plan to go do Bible studies every Tuesday morning at Starbucks and read the Bible. And that's really was what I looked forward to my weekend. That's really what got me out of my funk. It was Jesus, obviously.
Refilling. or is it the right word?
Recharging
Yeah, like it literally like
fills your cup.
I would just wake up and be like, okay, like this week it's gonna be a good day. Then Tuesday would come and I'd be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
You
I would
know?
love it. And then also, this is where it's just crazy. I feel like God just gives you so many God winks. Like even in the season before you enter the season.
You don't realize until way later. You're like, wait, that literally was God. Like,
Yes,
what the heck was I thinking?
because something. So when I was struggling in that season, that's when you were like, you need to start finding joy in the little things. And that was in September. We'll rewind all the way to February. Miss Laura bought me a cup. I have it in there, and it says, find joy in the small things.
Crazy.
And
Isn't that so cool?
And also at this time, so that was something Jaedyn told me, find joy in the little things. And I used to vlog every single day. Like I made these like collages. You know, I'm gonna start doing that again. I miss that. Starting June. So it would be called recap of March or
Blah blah blah.
yeah. It was actually called Digital Diary Chapter 1 out of 12. And then 1 is like January, Chapter 2 is February. So September, the theme was finding joy in the little things. So I made a whole vlog every day. I would film a little clip like, hey guys, it's September 2nd, my joy of the day. And then I like wrote the joy of the day on there.
Like even at work, you made the kids do the joy journals.
Yeah.
Over
In
summer.
July.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Yeah, in July, I made them make notebooks, and it was called Joys of July, and they had to write a joy of the day they had each day. Whoa, I didn't even realize that either. But
Speak to you.
so that was something that helped. And then another fast forward moment, sometimes when I would just be really deep in thought and like you said, your mindset, like your mind can run even though you try to stop it. And I think it's very easy when you're out with your family and you're being kept busy and you're not thinking about what your mind, what like the sadness or what you're feeling. But once it's those nights when you're alone and you're in your room and you're going to bed and it's dark and there's no one there besides God. And that's when you really need to reach out to Him and speak to Him. And something that I've realized, like I would lay my head down and be like, okay, pray, good night, and like close my eyes, and then all these thoughts would come to my head.
That's like true prayer, you know? Like I don't know how to explain that. Like when you're sleeping and then you just can't sleep and you're just like, "Ugh, God this, God that." Like, you know, that's like, do you know what I mean?
But I wasn't talking about praying when I was sleeping. No, I do know what you mean. But I'm saying like after I'm done praying and I'm like, okay, time to go to sleep. And then all these thoughts are coming, bad thoughts, negative. And something that really helped me is I would recite a Bible verse, and this is the only Bible verse I would recite because it's right above my bed. It says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So, because I think sometimes I would reflect on things I did or like how people treated me, and I'm like, how and what they said or something, and I'd just be like, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. But I think definitely reciting that scripture because it stops the thoughts. Because you're like, wait, what's that Bible verse? I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Like you can't really think about it.
Yeah, you're counteracting it.
And I also had some other things. I wanted to share this Bible verse, 2 Corinthians 12:9. I think, like we were saying, is oftentimes we wear this mask and we pretend that we're okay and have this front up, but deep down, when you're alone, you know that you're not. And I don't know if it's like we're embarrassed to be vulnerable, or you just
Scared of your feelings.
or you're just afraid. I could say this too sometimes, to open up, because my struggle was if I opened up about my sadness and told people, then are they going to look at me as broken or look at me differently? Like, because I think it also comes in waves.
You don't want them to pity you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's like, I'm not opening up. This is staying deep, deep down, you know, inside out. It's like her dark. What is the closet? The dungeon? I don't remember. But this Bible verse says, what?
What does he say? What jar? He's like, we're suppressed
Emotions.
What was?
I forget. I don't know. But 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, each time he said, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now I'm glad to boast about my weaknesses so that the power of Christ can work through me. Isn't that just so good?
Yeah.
I'm highlighting that in your Bible app for you. But that's just so like at our weakest times, he can move.
He's close to the brokenhearted.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the conference this last time that we went, when I was getting prayed over, she was like, think of like God as like a gardener, you know, like he's like you're broken, and like think of it as like this torn up yard. Like you go and everything's like a mess. It's like when you drive down the
Like the
street.
vine.
Yeah. And like you drive down the street and it's like no one is taking care of that yard. And then like you have to pull out everything, you know, you really have to get the root of it all. And then the Lord builds you up and you grow your flowers and you blossom and you bloom through that. Like the Lord is like he's doing the work on your heart. Like he's close to you and he's working with you and for you. And when you keep investing in the Lord, he's so like you just feel his presence so near to you and so close to you, especially in that time of weakness or in that time of sorrow. Like when you take comfort in the Lord, you grow so much after that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It makes me think of this video I saw.
It's like
Look, trusting and praying about nothing, but nothing is changing. It's like this. See if I could show them.
So, but she's saying like, see how it's blooming over time, like the Lord
Like,
over time helps.
We don't see it. We don't see it right away.
Yeah, the work doesn't. It's not just like boom, look what happened. It takes time. It takes time for a flower to grow. You know, you can't just plant the seed and all of a sudden it's there. Like
boom.
You have to water it, and it has to get the nutrients that it needs. So you have to be feeding yourself the word of God, and you have to be surrounding yourself in fellowship with Christ like people to be able to grow in Christ, to be able to grow with Christ. Because if you're not feeding yourself, you're never going to grow. You're starving yourself the whole week. It's never going to get better because you're not putting in the work to get better, you know?
Yes. And about like mental health. Sometimes I think when stuff is going on around us, it can really affect us mentally. And one time during this season of I honestly don't remember when I did this devotional. Maybe when I was more sad. Sorry, just really had a tickle in my throat right now. When I was sad. And this is what it said in the devotional, and I really loved it. Being anchored in Christ protects me from allowing the crisis around me to create a crisis within me. Boom.
That's good.
That's just like mic drop to me. Because oftentimes we let the circumstances around us. That's also a thing. I remember, because my dad does a mental health thing, there's different types of depression. There's circumstantial, chemical. Man, sorry, Dad, I forget the third. But oftentimes I think our mental health can be based on circumstances around us.
Very much so. Which was like my thing. Like when my dad got sick, I was just like, boom. Yeah. That was very like circumstantial. It's like I wouldn't be feeling like this if my life wasn't going like this. But also I think that going through that is so important at the same time because it really teaches you a lot about one, like yourself, and then two, like life in general. Like not everything's gonna be like happy and perfect and how you want it to go. Like there's going to be obstacles and there's going to be challenges in life, and it teaches you how to like overcome and grow through it.
Yeah, and I think it's really just part of like that refining process.
Yes.
I saw this thing, this Instagram post, and I loved it, and it was like, how am I going to I'm rewording this. I don't know exactly what it said, but it's like, how am I going to make it through this? No, how am I going to go through this? And then they crossed out go and put grow. How am I going to grow through this? So I think that's another thing that you could keep in mind. Like, what is God teaching me? How is He growing me? Because every challenge we go through, God's just refining us and molding us into who He wants us to be. Sorry, I thought it was someone. And also know that whatever you're facing, whatever you're going through, God is right beside you. He sees you, He loves you, and He wants you to cry out to Him. He's there for you.
Yeah, that's what He's there for, is to help you and to comfort you,
Yeah.
to redeem you.
Do you want to talk about anything else? Did you want to talk more about like the mask that people wear?
Sure. I think
Because I touched on that. I
yeah,
don't know if you
a lot
wanted
of
to say
time
anything.
should be moving this. A lot of times, like I like, especially Christians, I feel like a lot of us feel like we have to put on this front, like it's like, oh, I'm a Christian and I don't want other people to think that like God can't help me, or like, you know, all this stuff, or all these people in the church are happy, so like I don't want to be the burden. I don't want to be that, like I want to walk into church looking like happy, but the Lord places us in churches, the right churches for us. Like not every church is for everyone. And if you're going into church, you're not supposed to, like church isn't for the put together. It's for the broken. It's church puts us together, you know? Like God puts us together. We're supposed to go to him when we're broken, not when everything is happy, you know? Like we're supposed to go to him during both times, but especially when we're broken, because that's when we like really need him the most, because he's the only one that can truly put our hearts back together and mend us. And if you're going into something with a mask on of I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, and no one else around you knows, the Lord has placed each of these people around you to help you grow and to help you get better. And if you can't put your guard down and your mask down around these people, you need to try to figure out a way that'll help you be like, oh, it's okay. Like, it's okay to be vulnerable. It really is. Like, Uncle Darren, he always says, he's like, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to not get help. And that is so important to realize. If you're not okay, no one, if you have the right people around you that actually genuinely care for you, not your friends, your family are not going to care that you're not doing well. They're going to be like, if anything, it's going to worry them, and it's going to want them to help you, and they're going to want to come by you and support you and lift you up and put you back in your rightful place. But if you're not allowing those people who God has placed you around to help you, then you can't expect to get better. If you're just constantly have that mask, your happy face mask on, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to remove your guard every once in a while. And it's not like you don't have to go up to like some random person you don't know and be like, oh, I feel like I'm like just traumatized up on them. But when it's your close friends and your close family, they care for you, and you can do that, and you should be able to do that, you know?
Yeah, someone you trust.
Yes.
And also, like you mentioned, church, like we're not all put together. We are all broken. And that's what brothers and sisters in Christ are for, to be able to lean on them. And how are you going to be able to lean on them if you just keep wearing that mask every time? Like we're saying, you don't have to go around in the church and be like,
Just give me
guys,
your whole sob life story.
and so today my sandwich fell on the ground. No, I'm just kidding.
But
Remember that?
yes, that was really sad, guys. One time I literally got a Starbucks sandwich, and you know, like there's the opening of the bag, and then there's like the sealed bottom of the bag. Well, I'm holding my sandwich by like I like rolled it opening, I'm holding it by that, and it falls through the bottom of the bag as soon
We
as I
have a
walk out
picture
the
of it. It's
store
actually hilarious.
on the street, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is so sad. So then I went back inside, and they gave me another one, and then the lady was rude. She's like, did she get back to me? She's like, this time hold the bag correctly. I'm like, girl,
Girl,
this
we
time assemble your
did.
bag correctly. I was like, girl, this is not my fault.
Starbucks workers. Sorry if you're a Starbucks worker. We love you. Some
Yes,
of
we
them.
do. We appreciate you.
Wait, you made me have another thought when you were talking about, but then I got sidetracked, of course. When you were saying, I said something about like brothers and sisters in Christ. Okay, not coming back to me.
I don't know. This is our problem. We always do this.
Shoot. This makes me mad. We were saying brothers and sisters in Christ, like we're there. Oh, leaning on them. Like you're called to lean. Like not called to lean, but that's why, so we could help each other. And something that I noticed and I find is so beautiful and it's cool how God works is sometimes you'll go through a season before someone, and then someone around you is hurting, and now you have had experience in this season, so now you can help them and be like, I know. And then it just makes you have more empathy for them because you're like, I just went through that, so I know exactly how you're feeling, and this is what I did that works, or this is how I felt. Even if it's not the same exact thing, but I had even someone come to me like saying how they were feeling sad about something, and I had just gone through the same season of that, and just being able to speak like life over them, because like you've been through the other side, so you'll get to watch them and see how they go about. But also, something I noticed too is some of those sad seasons was because I was so dependent and I leaned too much on people. I leaned more on people than I did on God. So you just need to make sure that you lean on God more than people, because people will let you down. They're not perfect. They're imperfect, and God is the only one that is perfect and will be there. And he won't let you down. Maybe if you didn't get what you wanted, he let you down and for that period of time, but then you go through the season and you realize what he was doing, and you realize that he didn't let you down, that he just had better for you and better in store, and you just had to wait.
Yeah,
And sometimes that just
hard.
Yeah. I feel like this episode's all over the place, like mental health, and then like
Yes, but I think it all correlates back to like the only way to get better is when you lean on God, in that when you're putting in the work with God, and coming inviting God alongside you to come guide you and show you the path to get better. Like for me it was like, oh, I need to change my mindset to and speak things that the Lord says about me over my life, and speak positive things over myself that the Lord calls me. And the only way that I can do that is when I'm in my word and I know my word, or I'm in the Bible. I should say this. The word is like the Bible. If people don't know that, sorry, that's a little Christianese. If I'm in my Bible and I'm reading my Bible and I'm understanding my Bible, and then I apply the Bible to my life. It's like I can't talk the talk and not walk the walk.
Yeah. I saw this and I loved it, and I said, say this, okay? Jaedyn, take a look around in this room and tell me everything that is blue.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Now name something that was yellow.
Well, I knew what it was, but the first time I was like, so I could do this time. But the first time I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
That just goes to the blue being your sadness and the
You can't find
the negative in the life.
Blue.
Yep. And the yellow is the positive and the joy and the blessings the Lord has given you. And when you're so focused on looking for the blue and everything, you're not going to see the yellow. Mm-hmm. And that's something that really changed my perspective.
Yeah. And when you focus on the Lord, like you said, instead of leaning on people, you lean on the Lord, the joy of the Lord is within you. And so then you can be joyful through every circumstance. You can be content through every circumstance because you're not leaning and you're not putting your roots down into the world, which is constantly changing and churning, and nothing's ever going to be the same. But when you're putting your roots in what God says and who he is, that's everlasting. God never changes. He's the same that he was yesterday, today, and forever.
And it's all easier said than done, guys, because I know you could be going through a season and being like it's a hard season for you, and you're like, I know God's growing me. Like, I know the outcome is going to be better, and I just know this is happening for a reason. But you still have those days where you're like, oh, why? Why, Lord? Like, I know that it's just not easy to have that all the time.
Yeah. It's definitely a struggle.
Yeah.
Sure. It's
and it goes back and forth. Everything comes in waves.
Yes, that's why it's important to recognize it and be like, yeah, I'm feeling like this. But sometimes it's a while. Sometimes I'll be feeling like it and I'm like sulking, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, why am I doing this? And then it's not just like instant. Like, it takes time to actually work through it, Yeah.
But he's there alongside you, and he knows.
He knows you better than you know yourself.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Just know and remember that God is with you every step of the way, and no giant is too big for him. He has you, and it's not a surprise, and you will get through this. And reach out to someone, to God most importantly, but to those around you if you're really struggling.
Because you are loved, you are cared for, you are appreciated, you are a blessing. And no matter how you're feeling, if you feel like you're not loved or you're not cared for, that you don't matter, it's not true. Because your mind is a powerful thing. And when you think that, it's hard to turn that around. But here's your reminder that you are loved and that you are a masterpiece and that you are cared for, and that if you feel like you don't have anyone around you that you can go to, you can come to us. You can DM us, you can email us, you can text us, you can come up to us in person. And you are so cared for and you are so loved all the time.
Just came to mind when you said that is like, you already have the strengths and everything
equipped
inside you. Yeah, he's already equipped you. Thank you. I love having like another person, you know? We finish each other's sandwiches. That's what I was going to say. But he has already equipped you, and you are equipped to go through this. And remember, wear your armor. That armor of God.
Armor every day.
Yes.
Don't
Helps
leave it
a lot.
hanging in the closet.
It's a little dusty.
Gotta put on that helmet.
Protect that mind. Okay, but we hope you enjoyed this podcast, right?
Yeah, that concludes it.
So what do you think a good song of the week is? Guys, we always forget to discuss the song of the week. Back, and our song of the week is God Only Knows by King and Country. For King and Country.
Yes. It's a great song.
Yes.
Well,
remember to stay connected to each other,
to us,
and most importantly, the vine. Be the light, guys.
Thank you for listening.